Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be exploring how you can make your own quilt designs. And they don't have to be quilt designs. They could be creative sketch types of designs, lots of different things we can do with our embroidery software. So I'm working in my Sonnet embroidery, and I have the platinum version. So I'm going to be working in digitizing, and I'm going to show you how you can bring in designs and use create the quilt designs from that, and how you can make your own designs just by sketching on the screen with no picture behind it, because I do it both ways. There are some instant gratification things if you're looking for a quick design that you can do right in our digitizing program. So we're going to go there. First, I'll just show you one of my very first projects that I did, where I made my own quilt design, and it really turned out well. I know you can't see a lot of detail in here because I did do it tone on tone, but one of the reasons that it really helped me with this is I was able to load the background so I could design an embroidery design that would fit this exact shape, and I could do another one that would fit this exact shape, and I could measure exactly what that size was and make sure that I was going to like the look of it before I actually created the quilt design. So that helped a lot. Now we have another design. This is an edge-to-edge quilting design. So I think we're going to start with creating edge-to-edge quilt designs first, so you can see how that is done very, very easily, and the kinds of things that you can look at. So I'm going to switch over to my computer, and right now I am working. This is my main screen where I can combine and put things together. To go to digitizing, I'm going to go up to create, and I'm going to go and choose digitizing. And if I'm going too fast, let me know for anybody. I will try and go over things a few times, so don't worry. And remember, we have this all recorded, so you'll be able to watch it afterwards. When I touch digitizing, a new screen opens up, and it's important to be patient. Just wait for a moment, because this is our Express Design Wizard, where we can choose what we want to do. If you wanted to make a trace in a quilt design, using Express Trace would be the way to go if you wanted instant embroidery design. But you can also load a background picture. You can load an existing design that's already been created if you have saved it as an EDO. And then you can also start a design with no picture. So that's where I'm going for the first time. I'm going to start a design with no picture. And then it's going to let me select what hoop that I want to make the design for. So I'm going to touch finish, and it brings me into my digitizing screen. Now, while I'm in here, I can go to quick create and choose images and make designs right away. But I want to bring in a drawing or a picture, clip art, JPEGs, bitmaps, that kind of stuff. To do that, we're going to go to view, and we're going to go edit background. And while we're in here, you'll see this new little window opened up, and I'll make it larger so you can see it. And if I want to insert some designs that are built into my Sonnet embroidery, I could go to insert. I have shapes, all these multiple different shapes that I can insert, that I can build my design using. I can also go to gallery designs, and here we have hundreds and hundreds of different designs that are in there. You can see here's some really great quilt designs, but we're not going to start by doing that. We're going to start, I want to show you a simple, easy way to build an edge-to-edge quilt design. I'm going to go to food and drink, and I'm going to bring in this glass of bubbly. Not sure what it is exactly. And I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it better. I think this is kind of a fun little picture. Right now, it is very, very little. So over on the right, where you see the line, I can change the line size and make the line thicker so I can see it better. Maybe I don't need to go to 1.0, but I can go 0.5, 5, and I can choose the size that I want my line to be. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the line black, make it a little easier for you to see. All right, wait a second here. We're going to choose my color, and let's choose black. And did it change? No, it didn't change. We'll come back to that afterwards. Oh, that's for the fill. That's why there's no fill there. This is the one you need to go up top to change the color. There we go. All right, so I've got one little glass of bubbly. I'm going to go back to the draw tab because here I can take an existing design it's a picture, and then I can add more to it. I'm going to go to box select and touch duplicate, and I'm going to put a glass up here at the top, and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. And then I'm going to select the other one and move that down a little bit like this. Maybe I got to go down, and I'll rotate it a little bit the other way. Now, if I wanted to make a continuous quilt design, these things need to be connected. So I'm going to draw some lines that will connect the glass and look like a continuous line of quilting the way that I would want it to look like. Over on the right where I see draw, I can select draw points, and then I can just click where I want to go. And every time I stop, it's going to be a line, and you can see it's kind of starting to curve. And I'm just going to come around and do a little loopy thing here. I'm not too worried about what the points look like, because when I right click, I can finish the line, and now I can go in and adjust that later on. All I'm trying to do is get the design started so it's connected. So I'm going to, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see more closely what I'm doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click at the bottom of the glass and just do another loop going in the, let's go over here. And I'm going to come down. I need to roll my screen down a little bit here. You can see I went there. I made a mistake. So I just have to go to undo, and it'll make things go away. Whoops, wait a second here. Go to finish line. And if I want to go backwards, then I can go back the other way. So I can kind of flip back and forth, move things around. If I don't like what I've done, it's very easy to delete it. So I like to kind of play around, just getting used to the tools when you start. Now, I'm going to come back. I'm going to add my lines again. Remember, when I finished adding my lines, I just have to right click. And this time I'm going to come over here like this. And right click, finish the line. Now you notice, see this point here? It's not connected to that point. I can go and edit those points, and I can move them and drag them to connect them. I can move this up over here, and I can come over here. These points are not marked in stone. You don't have to draw them perfectly. You can move them anywhere you want them to be. If you'd like to add extra nodes, then you can go in under the points and just click where you want to add some extra ones. And now it's going to let you add them. And now you've got more ability to move your shape around. Now this time, I want to go to the bottom of the screen. So I'm just going to slide down. I'm going to go back to draw another line. This is only going to take me about 30 seconds. And then once I'm done, I'm going to show you the impact of what we're doing. Whoops. I kind of skipped it. There we go. And I right click and finish the line. So you can see I skipped that line. It doesn't matter because I can go back and edit them, and I can move them where I want them to be. Now you'll notice that I left this point down at the bottom in this center line right here. That's where my edge-to-edge design is going to join up. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going to zoom back out to the full screen. Okay. I don't have an embroidery design right now. This is not an embroidery design. All it is is a sketch of something that I think I might like. I'm going to, you see here, I can see those are not joined. If you want to do a design as one whole complete design and do it using the wizard, they need to be joined up. It needs to look like it's one line. Okay, now I'm ready to start adding my stitch to this. And on the bottom of my screen, I have my digitizing screen. When I open that up, there's the design I created. I can see if it's not perfect or not. I can see down here, I've got some different images and it may or may not catch those last stitches. I can still come back to the draw window and correct things. You're kind of meant to work in both of these windows. So let me go and correct this one here. All right. And when you're learning, you've got to let yourself have a little bit of time to get used to using these tools. So when I started, I was just playing around with a simple design like this. Okay, now my lines join back together. And I'll go back to my digitizing screen. And up at the top, I'm going to click Finish. Now, if I want to quick create this, do it something really, really quickly, what I can do is go to Trace, and it will create an embroidery design from that whole thing, or I can go to Quick Create Background. I'm going to go to Trace, and I'm going to do a double trace. And when you do that double trace, it's a good idea to zoom in, because as you're doing it, you notice that there's a circle with a line in it. It will stay that way unless you touch an actual line that it can register that there's something there. Now there's no circle. When I left click with it, it opens up this color tolerance box. And what I'm going to do is just drag that color tolerance box, and you'll notice, at least I think you will, that there's like a turquoise and red line that goes around all of that. The more you drag the color tolerance box forward, the more it's going to be able to encompass the whole design. But I'm just going to leave it here and see what happens. I'm going to touch OK. And now I have an embroidery design that is complete. It only took me 20 seconds to make the design, but now I have this ready. But the real question is, what does it look like when you would use this as an endless design coming down, right? So what I'm going to do, and this is the fun part, our new My Sewnet embroidery, all of these windows are all interlocked together. So if I go down now to my main screen, that design has already been moved over, and I'm ready to kind of play around with it. I've got one design in here, and what I'm going to do is touch duplicate, and then I want to see how it would link in together, how I'm going to join them together. Okay. Now, because these design, my hoop is wider, I'm going to move this design over to the side so that both of them are lined up, because that's going to make it a little more realistic for me to see how these would join up. Right now, that's the way they would join up. Let me just zoom out a little bit more for you to see. And I'll select both of them. So see how they continue on like that? So if you don't like any of those points, you don't have to start over. All you have to do is go back to digitizing, and you can keep working with it. We're not going to do that. We're going to do a different design, but you can see how easily it would be to incorporate butterflies or, anything that's on your quilt. Maybe you're making a sunflower quilt. You can get a picture of sunflowers, and then by drawing those connecting lines, you can easily make an edge-to-edge design that you want to work on. I'm going to go back and do one more. I'm going to go to create. Let me just get rid of this, all of these guys. And I'm going to go back to digitizing. And I'm going to do it 2 or 3 times so you can kind of see the process and how easy it is to move back and forth. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start a new design with no picture. And then I'm just going to touch finish. And I want to go to do a background. This time I'll get a different background. I'm going to go to edit background, which can be found in view. And wait a second here. I think I just closed that down. Sorry about that. Wait a second here. Hold on. There we go. There's my draw window. All right. Let me just move this out of the way here. All right. Hold on a second. There's my draw window. There. Closed it down by accident. Okay. I'm going to go to insert. And this time I'll do a different file. And let me see where I'm going to go. Insert files. Do I have? I have one on my desktop. So this was a design that I took out of the program and I saved the picture of it on my desktop. This time, look at this. I can actually bring my picture of my quilt in and do that. We're not going to do that, though. We're going to choose another design that's in here. We're going to choose this one here. So this one, the design's already added. Okay, I've added it in there. I don't have to do any designing or creating myself. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I am going to change it, make it black, and I'm going to make the line thicker so you can see it better. See, I think you should be able to see that better. Let's see if we go 1.5. We don't have any fill. Now, as I'm going, now I've taken away the grid. I just see the color of the design. There is one little problem that I have. Right here, you'll notice, see how this is not connected? So if you have part of the design that's not connected, then you're going to need to add that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to edit points here, or I'm going to go to draw. Let's go to draw, and we can just draw a line and make it go from here to here and finish the line. Now, I don't need it to be that thick, do I? Remember, this is just a background. So I can kind of fix things this way. And I can do another line from here to here. Click a point. And then right click and finish that. So you can repair things that are a problem. Now, in this case, this would have been better. I'm going to go back up to a full screen. You saw how kind of the lines that we were looking at are not really clear, right? So if you have a design like this where the lines are not really clear, you can get better results by bringing in your image through the wizard. All right, so let's go back. I'm going to close this out. There's my image. All it is a picture right now. And I'm going to go to a new screen. And we're going to do it again so you can kind of see. All right, so this time I'm going to go to digitizing, and I'm going to use the option that pops up. I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to use Express Trace. And this will make an instant quilt design. All right. Or maybe I want to go, let's load a background picture. So you see, you have different choices. You decide. I know that gap is there. That gap isn't going to go away when I would use the Express Trace. It would create a design and they wouldn't be connected. So I'm going to go and load the background picture, and I'm going to use this wizard this time. I'm going to choose the same one. And there is my line right there that's not connected, and I'm all right with that. But when I go next, it kind of shows me what the computer is seeing in the preview. All right. And I can zoom in or zoom out. I can change the size of it. I can do a lot of different things. When I touch next, it's showing me what it looks like in my hoop. And then when I touch finish, it's going to bring me the design, right? So you can kind of go back and forth like this. And you can kind of see what you're getting and what it looks like. And now when I touch finish, I've got the design in here. And it's a lot clearer this way. That image is a lot better. I still have this place where it's not joined together. And I can easily go in and do that by going to edit. And I can correct that line. I can go, I want to edit the background because it's still a background, right? There's no stitches there. And there's my design that I have in there. I'm going to go and zoom in to let you see what you've got here. All right, there's my image. And I'm going to make my line 0.5 is good. And I'll draw it just again like this so you can see. And then I'm going to come here and connect it. Finish that line. I'm not too worried about what the color is right now, and I'm leaving it different so you can see it. And then finish that line, right click. And now I'm going to zoom back out to the full screen. There we go. So there's my image. I'm going to leave that over here. I'm going to go to Quick Create. I'm going to go to Quick Create. And this time I'm going to go Quick Create a background. And it will let me retain all individual objects. I can remove overlaps. And I can send the entire image to the Express Design Wizard. Each one of these will give you a little different result. I like to tell you to plan it, try it one way, and then try it another. What works best for you? Too often we're afraid of taking the moment to try. So I'm going to retain all individual objects from the draw and say, okay. And now it's going to immediately create the image. You can see on the right, it just did that little spot, didn't it? See, all it did was do those two lines because that's all it was seeing. If I go to trace, let's see when I go to trace what happens. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. All right. I'm going to trace and I'll touch an image. It doesn't see that image back there, does it? You can do it, but it's only seeing it as a background. There, we got it. We touched on the line. Now we can enlarge it like this. Let it zoom out and see what happens. All right. It didn't like it. It'll tell you what it's doing and what's working and what's not working when you're doing these kind of things. Right now, I'm working in the platinum area. I'm at the platinum level. So when you're doing things, you can see the message you get if something is not working for you. I'm going to go to the home page, and as we go through, I want to show you, okay, this is a design that I created. When I did this design, here, let me come back to the screen. I did do that image that you saw, and I'll show you when I'll come back to it and show you again. So that design I was just looking at, look what a beautiful quilt design it made. It is connected, and you can see how it's connected, right? But how you bring a design in will give you either a very beautiful look or not a good look. So are you going to create something as a drawing? Are you going to go in and bring up a completed image? How you bring that image in makes all the difference in the world, okay? So back into one more time, all right? Let me go back to create, and I'm going to go to digitizing. And this image was a design that I used on this tablecloth, on this table runner right here. And that one was drawn by hand. And so that's something else you can do right in there. You don't need to have a picture behind you. You can go in and just take an image if you have an image on your head or an image that you've got a drawing of, but it should be a copyright-free image. There are a lot of quilt designs that are copyright-free images that you can use. And sometimes you might have a program like Electric Quilt has all kinds of quilt designs. If it's one of the main ones that's in their program, they're copyright-free and you can use them to create quilt designs from. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to go and I'm going to start a new design with no picture. And I'm going to just touch finish. So I have no picture here, no image. All right. So as I'm going to go to point create, and it shows me that I have pattern fill and satin line collected. I'm going to turn those off. I'm going to say I don't want any fill. I don't want any satin line. Okay. They're just going to be turned off. And I don't want any satin line. Oh, why does it keep coming back on there? It's playing games with my mind. Turn it off. I want to do a create line. All right. And when I create a line, I don't want to do a satin line. I want to do a running stitch. So where it says satin line, I touch the arrow and I'm going to say, I just want a running stitch, because most people who like quilt designs, They want a simple design that is just a line. They don't want it to be a double or triple or quadruple one. So in a moment, I'm going to come and explain to you. So when I use create line, I can just touch and come back, and I'm drawing my own design. And then I can adjust these. If I don't like the shape of them, I can change them. I can make them different feathers like that. And then I can come back and decide what I want it to look like. Maybe I want to draw a flower or something like that. And then I can keep coming and going. And as soon as I right click, it will turn that tool off. And now it's not set in stone. I can go back to the home page and touch edit. And now those points, I can move them around to get them the way that I want them to be. If I don't like the way they are, I just move them. Right now, this is an embroidery design. I am in Digitizing. I didn't go to the draw window. I didn't go anywhere else. All I did was came here and I went to quick create, point create, and I selected what I wanted to do. Now, if I wanted to draw an edge-to-edge design, I'm just going to move these points around a little bit. All right. I can keep going if I want to. I can go back and add more points by going back to point create, touch quick line, and I can come down and then keep going with my design. I could add some leaves. If I wanted to have a sharp point, I can hold the shift key. And now I'm going to come up here and just come over here a little bit. Let's make this one a little sharp point. And then I'm going to come back down. All right, so I'm going to let go. The idea of drawing your own designs and adjusting them. On my home page, I'm back and I can touch edit. I can move this anywhere I want it to be and adjust them. This is an embroidery design right now. I have drawn that embroidery design, just like I did this one here with the, wait a second. Let me cancel this out here. All right, there's the one that I just did. That was the way I did the feathers that I did on that table runner. This table runner, the leaves that I just did here, if I don't like them, I can come back in here and I can keep drawing and adjusting them. So I love to create embroidery designs this way. This is working in here where I can just draw a shape and adjust it and keep working with it. The feather design that I made here, it took me about 20 minutes to draw these feathers. But what I learned from it was how to use the tools. And so I'm going to go back to my digitizing screen that is on the bottom here, and it flips back and forth between my main screen where I can save designs. But if I want to make changes to that flower, it's still back there, and I can say, you know, that would be a lot nicer if I added some more petals to it. So I can go in there. I can insert points. Let's do that. I'm going to insert some points. And I'm going to change and add another petal in here. And now I edit them. And I can move them around and adjust them and decide where I want that extra petal to be. I'm going to take this point up here. And you see how easy it is. What I'm doing is exactly changing the lines of my embroidery design. This, as I move it, all these points are being adjusted. And when I go back to the main embroidery screen that I start my embroidery designs, editing with them, wait a second, it's still there, but it didn't change. Because I remember that finish button that popped up, I closed it out, and now that's finished. I have to start again, which that's all right. I've still got it over here. So when you're looking at these designs, it's very free form, and you can really make your own quilt designs. If you like something, you can see how easy it is to adjust it. I could decide maybe I want to add another leaf over here. So I'm going to go to edit points, and I can move them if I want to, or if I need more points because I don't have enough, I'm just going to go and click on the line and add some more points. And now I can move them where I want them to be. Now, if you do not have the imagination to make yourself a design and you're not really sure how to do it, then that's when having the background there can be a lot of help, right? Because the background, you can decide what you like and what you don't like. And let me just move this here like this. So all of this it is very free form, but the difference between doing it like this, when I'm in digitizing, and if I just start drawing here using the point create, I am creating an embroidery design immediately. I could go to quick create and say, I want to do a running stitch and maybe get some of these different shapes. There's 120 shapes that are already pre-created. So let's see, I choose this one here. All right. That's an embroidery design. On the left, you'll see that it says it's a running stitch. So I could create another flower like this, and I could duplicate it and rotate it, move it around. These are embroidery designs. I immediately made a new embroidery design by going to quick create. And so each of these things, I could grab both of them if I wanted to and select both of those and then create. I'm going to touch duplicate, and then I'm going to rotate. So working in digitizing doesn't have to be that you have to use a design to start with or to finish with. You can create your own designs. I'm going to do duplicate one more time. And now I've created a new flower. Let's see if I get it looking like the way I want it to look like. And you can see I'm just playing around here. This is what it's all about. We really kind of sometimes take things too seriously. And then if you didn't like something, like say I've got an extra petal there that I don't really want right there, I'm just going to delete it. There's the film strip that's showing up on the left is showing me all the bits and pieces. So maybe I want to get rid of some of the other parts. Maybe I don't like that original flower. Well, I'm just going to delete them. And this time I'm going to put a box around these guys and move that up. And now I have a new flower that I might look better. Maybe I want to rotate it so that it's going to come through that stem. When you're creating here, this is like color book drawing, where you can just make your own images. And if you have an idea of what you want to use for your edge-to-edge quilting or for your quilt designs, then this gets you a lot of the way here. Okay. Now, if I come back, remember when I came back here and that design that I did, the only difference what I did here and the other one was here I started with the glass of bubbly and I drew some lines to connect it. You can do it like that, or you can do it right in digitizing and draw. I'm not very good at drawing a cup, so that's why I used an image. It helped me get started. So let's pretend that we wanted to add an image to this so that I could trace it. I can do that. I can go to view while I'm in digitizing, and I'm going to go to edit background, and it pops up with this new window. I can go to insert, and when I go to insert, I still have all those different shapes here, and then I have the gallery designs where maybe I can go to flowers and leaves. Look at all the designs that are in here. Maybe I like this leaf better, or this leaf. That could be kind of fun. Let's try this leaf right here. So I just touched it, and then when I close, it didn't come in there, right? You have to, when you go in here and you select something and you touch it, you have to open it. Okay, so I'm going to touch it, open it. And if we move that window aside, look at, there's the leaf. Now it's loaded. If I keep touching different leaves, it'll load multiple ones in there. But I'm just going to touch this. All right, and close it. Now I have 2 leaves in here. They're only drawings, though. This is in my draw tab. I'm just drawing now. I don't have an embroidery design. I don't want the fills to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over on the right where it says fill. I'm going to touch an X and it will take the color away. And if I zoom up here, you'll see what it looks like. I'm going to make the line thicker. There we go. And I don't have the box on this one. So let me get the box on this one here. And then I can make that line thicker too. There we go. Now, when I zoom out, those two leaves are there. They're not embroidery designs yet because I'm in the draw window. When I go back to digitizing, those images are there. Do you see that? But they're still not embroidery designs. I need to add stitches to them. So anything you're doing in the draw window, it doesn't become an embroidery until you actually add stitches. When I'm in digitizing, there's many ways of adding stitches to it. I can go to Point Create. I can go to Freehand Create. And I can go to Quick Create. So a lot of these are just different choices and different things. But you'll notice those leaves, they don't show up on the left where that film strip is because they're not embroideries yet. And when I go to my home page, the other home page, they don't show up at all right now. I'm just working in digitizing. Now those images are background images. All right. If I wanted to what would happen if I get the box around that? All right. So the box doesn't come around it because it's not an embroidery design. Here, I can only get boxes around things that are stitches. These leaves are not stitches yet. Could I trace them and make them stitches? Let's see. I'll go to trace. All right. And I'm going to zoom in. And I always do that. I'm going to zoom in. And when I touch it and say, okay, now it's an embroidery design. And I can see on the left that there's stitches that are added. So now that's a physical embroidery design. If I draw a box around it, all right, I'm going to right click and turn it off. If I draw a box around it, I can move that anywhere I want to. But the background image is still there. But now I can take that leaf and move it anywhere I want to. Now, the real question is, if you're going to do a combination of these things, is it better to just start in the draw window and do everything in the draw window, and then you can come in and add stitches to it? When I was doing this originally, I used to work only in the draw window, and then I would design my whole picture. When it came to this feather design, wait a second here. When it came to this feather design, I only worked in the digitizing screen, and I just drew what I wanted it to be because I figured it was doing double the work. I could draw it, and then I would come in and I would trace it. So I think sometimes it's a matter of choosing what you want to do. But this is like the draw window is like Corel Draw. We have the ability to work with vectors. We have the ability to create vectors. And that may be over some of your heads. You don't need to know about it. Our program has so many different unique features about it. And when we are working, whether we're working in the draw window to create a drawing and then turn it into an embroidery, or whether we're working in digitizing and just creating immediately, there are so many different ways of doing it. And you'll find your favorite one. The most important one is to start playing with it if you've never used it. Okay. Now I'm going to delete everything. All right. And I've got this. I'm going to delete my lovely little edge to edge design there. And I've got a couple of different stitches there. Now, if I am back in my main screen where I open up my software, this is my home screen. To go to create and then digitizing, I'm going to open up. I have to be patient and wait. Okay. This time, what am I going to do? I'm going to load an existing design. Now, where it says load existing design, that is a design that's already been created and it's been saved as an EDO. It is a workable file. All right. It's not saved as a VP3. It's saved as an EDO. I'm going to load it. And when I go to touch next, I'm going to load the design and only an EDO file will show up here. So you see this feather convex curved. When I open it, it comes in so that I can work with it. I can adjust it or change it. This was that feather that I did way back when. And this design I made for a certain size. Over on the left, you see all the stitches. You will only see images on the left in that film strip if they are stitches. Now, but I can come in here and I can change it. Like maybe I wish these feathers were different shape, or maybe I wanted them to be bigger, right? So I can still adjust it and change it. But I can only do that if I've saved it as an EDO file. So I'm going to go up and show you how you can do that. You can see each one of these things is adjustable, right? And I can take it and keep moving it and keep changing it. If I wanted to make this feather here a little better, each one of these little nodes, I can adjust and move. Now, when I've done this and I'm ready to save it as an embroidery design, I'm going to go up to File and Export. And that will export it as a VP3 file or a VP4 file. I choose. If I have different software, every single different software brand is there, and I can choose what format I want to save it as. I'm going to save it as a VP3. And then I can say where I want to save it. It can be on a USB stick. It could be, I'll name it feather. It can be on a desktop. And now I've saved this design that I've changed right there. Another thing I can do is I can go up to the top right-hand corner where the cloud is, if I have a Wi-Fi compatible machine, and I can send it to any of my Wi-Fi compatible machines. I have a Designer Epic 2 and I've got a creative icon. And if I do that, boom, right there, it's gone to my machine. I didn't have to bring it into my main screen. Right from digitizing, I can send it to my machine and see what it's going to stitch out like. I've got 1,900 stitches in this quilt design. So I've just made all those changes and instantly changed that design. Now, if I want to save this design so I can come back in and edit it like this, an EDO is an editable file, then when I go, I'm going to say save as, and you'll notice that now what it's saving the EDO file. So when I say save, that design will be saved so that I can come back in and adjust it some more. That is absolutely important when you're working in digitizing. When I started playing around, and really, I'm not an expert like these other guys. You know, there's so many fabulous educators that are software people. I only play and have fun. And when I started working with digitizing, I would spend an hour playing around with design and I would love it. And I think, okay, it's perfect. And then I would send it, I would export it, and I would be stitching it out. And then I'd say, oh, I wish I'd had gone in and made one part of it different, or I wanted to adjust it. But I didn't save it as an EDO file, so I couldn't go back in and work on it. And I learned very early on that it is so important to save a design as an EDO file so that you can open it up and come back in and play with it. That would be kind of tragic if I had to start that feather all over again. When I started working with the feathers, I got inspired by one of the feathers that was in the designs that were the pictures, the clip art and stuff that was in digitizing in the background window. So that's where I got my original design from. I didn't start it from scratch. I started it and then I added to and built on it. But no matter where you get to, when you've got your design that's got stitches to it, before you export it as an embroidery file, save it as an EDO file, and you'll be happy that you can come back in and adjust it, because we always think everything's going to be perfect unless, you know, you stitch it out and then you say, okay, maybe not quite so as perfect as I thought it was going to be. I don't make perfect things. I have learned by now that I need to go in and keep playing with things, because in the beginning, what I think I want, it always changes. And maybe I want to adjust the size of it. Maybe I want to adjust some of the corners of it, and it really makes a big difference. So this time, I'm going to close this design out, and we're going to come back one more time. I'm going to get rid of this design here. Okay. I'm opening up my main screen. I'm going to like pretend we're just starting back at the very beginning. Okay. I'm going to go to digitizing, because I want you to see it's important that you wait. That little finish button came up, but you saw it took a little bit of time here, right, for this screen to come up. So if you wanted to make an existing design that you had artwork already, then you go to, and you wanted to create an embroidery, you'd go to the first option. If you wanted to make a quilt design, you could choose trace. If you wanted to make an applique, you could choose express border. If you wanted to load just the background picture, then you could do that here. If you wanted to load the EDO file, remember that EDO file I just did, you do it from load existing design. Or if you just want to start with no picture, then that's what you do. Start with no picture. All right. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to touch next. And I'm going to choose the hoop I want and touch finish. So here I am back in my digitizing screen. You can see at the top of the screen, it says digitizing. I want to change my background. I'm going to add that feather that I showed you. I'm going to go to edit background, and it opens up this new window. I'm going to go to insert design gallery. And what I want to look at is I'm looking for feathers. And this was the feather that inspired me, but there's a lot of different ones in there. Okay. And I'm going to touch and open that up. You can see this feather has a lot of the same looks as the feather that I drew and adjusted. I can adjust it, rotate it, turn it around. This would be kind of a nice corner feather, wouldn't it? To be able to do. Now, right now, there are no stitches. All this is a drawing. If I want to add stitches to it, or maybe I want to combine it and just, let's do that. Right now, I've got this design. I'm going back to my draw window. I'm going to touch duplicate, right? And I can rotate it and combine them together. Maybe I'm going to do this like a triangle. And this is the kind of stuff that you can play with, right? You can decide what you want something to look like. Now, would it let me make my lines darker? If I go over here to the right, I'm going to touch one, and look at it, made it nice and dark now, right? And I'm going to make that one darker too. So you can kind of see, you can mirror image, you can flip and flop, you can do whatever you want to with this design. If I want them to stitch out as one design, they need to be connected. If not, I'll have to do that process twice. So let me see if I turn this on an angle like this. And I'm going to turn this one on an angle. And I'm going to mirror image it the other way. All right. And we're going to put this together like that. And I'm going to join them together so that they're touching, just so that I can show you how this would work. So these two designs are touching. I'm not saying it's interesting. I don't know if I like it or not, but I just put them together. Maybe I want to add some more feathers in there. Maybe I want to add some other designs. I can certainly do that. But right now, when on the bottom, the red box, I'm going to touch that, and it is showing me my digitizing screen. If I want to quick create this, I can go to quick create. It's saying I have to close down that finish box, so I do what it tells me. I'm going to go to trace, or I could go to quick create from background. Let's see what happens when I do that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it closer. I'm going to go to trace. I'm going to choose double trace, and I'm going to wait till the arrow is on the line. Remember, if my mouse is not touching a line, it will show me a circle. When I go onto the line, all right, now it's an arrow. And when I touch it, look, what I'm looking for is, you see there's a line that is turquoise and red, and it's showing that it's connecting all those pieces. If it wasn't, then I could drag that and it would include more parts. If I want to collect less, I would drag it the other way. But because I really touched them well, it did a good job. And then all I have to do to get my stitches is to touch OK. And you'll see all the stitches showing up on the left. Now, those stitches are there. I'm going to draw a box around them and move them so you can trust me. See, there's the stitches. And I'll go to undo if I want to bring it back to the way it was. And it'll bring it back there. So they kind of look like they're hidden. If you didn't think you added stitches and you didn't pay attention to the box on the left, you might think they're not there. I know they're there because I can see the stitches in the film strip. When I zoom in, if you go in really close, you'll get a dark. You can always zoom back out a little bit. If I want to edit those points, now what I'm doing is I'm editing the embroidery stitch, not the background. If I wanted to change the background drawing, I have to go back to draw. But this is actually changing the actual stitches. Now, maybe you'd like to hide the background. Well, I can do that. I can go to view, and then there's a little slider bar that will let me hide the background. Now I'm going to go down to 0, and now the background's not showing at all. All that's showing is my embroidery design. And when I touch and move it, you can see there's no background there. So you can turn that background back on if you want to, or back off. It's up to you as you want to do that. But I'm going back to the home page. I like to turn the background off because it gives me a better image of what I've done. Now, looking up here, remember when I went and I touched edit points? You can see there's 2 layers, right? That's because when I went to trace, I said my option was double trace, quadruple trace, satin line, or motif trace. If I wanted a single line, that's not an option there. So when you're moving stitches, make sure you realize if you did a double or triple or quadruple, that there are other stitches that are underneath there. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to delete all these designs. Now, they're not saved, so that means that it's gone. If I wanted to save this file, I would do 2 things. Remember, I would do save as, because it will save it as an EDO file, and I will export it. And I could also send it directly to my machine by going up to send to my Sonet and send it to my machine. What I want to do is show you the difference. Okay, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go back to view and bring back the drawing. And remember how when I was doing the initial flowers and I was drawing my own flowers? Well, this time I'm going to do the same thing, but I want to use it as a single stitch. I'm going to go back to point create. I'm going to choose a single stitch, a running stitch. A running stitch is a single stitch. That's what most quilt designs are like. I'm going to choose a quilt area. Okay. Now, there's another couple of things you can do. There are so many tools that you can use here. What's important is, where do you want to start? And how can you do this design without stopping and starting? So you could use the Bezier tools, which are very cool. A Bezier tool, when you go and you select it, it will let you go and you can get some really cool curves from it. When you touch a point, let me go to Bezier Mode here and touch a point. Let me see here. It's not coming on. Oh, I guess I should. Let me do this. Let me do this. Create. There we go. All right. Now, Bezier Mode. on. So here I can change the angle. The Bezier Mode is a tool where when you touch something and you drag it, you can drag it and get the perfect curve you want to. So see how I got that curve? And I can sit that curve on the line and I can adjust the curve as I go so that it'll be exactly where I want to be. I want this point to be over here. And look at how that curve is sitting right on. And now I can come back and I could move that tool and adjust it. To me, the Bezier curves take a little while to get used to because you need to play with them so that you can adjust them and move them around and get used to them. This little, if you want the curve to be deeper, then you've got to pick that point up and move it somewhere else. So I think starting with the other options is easier than using that. So all I'm going to do is delete it. The easiest thing for me to do is go to Quick Create. All right. Wait a second here. Point Create. And I'm going to choose the Create a Line. And now everywhere I click, it will choose and will lay a point down. And then I can go in and adjust them later on. When I'm doing tight curves, I'm going to add a few of these closer together. All right. And then when I come out to larger lines, now right now I don't have stitches. To get stitches, I need to right click. But I'm going to just show you. I'm going to come off the line a bit so you can see where I'm going. Maybe I decide I don't like that line. So now when I right click, I've got stitches. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, too close, right? It's got dark. It's helping me to see the stitch a little better. So I'm going to zoom back out. And there's the nodes. And you can see how easy it is that I could move them. Right? And so see how I can adjust that and put them where I want to be. That background image is just a background image. And if I don't like something, I can pick them up and move them. I could decide I want to move this up here and I'm going to adjust it. Now look at the left. The only thing you see in the screen on the left is the part that I drew. The green is a background. It's not stitches yet. So I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm back to having no stitches. What I'm going to do, and when I'm doing this, okay, is the running stitches are going to go whenever I touch Create Area Line. When I touch a point, it is adding stitches. So decide, the important thing is where you want to start. Let's say I want to start here. And I decide I want to add some more lines. I can come over here, right? And keep adding points. And now I've joined that design like that. The background is just an image that gives me an idea of what I want something to look like. But I don't have to follow that line. I can go anywhere I want to. And if I don't like it, then I can adjust it and I can delete it. Let's see. Yes, you can change the nodes to curves. You can decide what you want and do it in any way you want to. And when you're doing these things, all right, and you're choosing a line and you choose the curves, usually if you're touching the shift key, it will give you sharp points. And if you don't touch anything, it will give you curve points. I'm going to come back out. Now, if you are in here and you want Quick Create, remember there's Trace and there's Quick Create Background. But as a quilter, if you want to do a design that's a single line of stitching, it is much easier to trace this design and get it exactly where you want to. Let's think about how you would stitch this so that you could have not start and stop all the time. Okay. So let's think of, let me go back here to, let me get rid of this. Hold on a second here. I'm going to go to a new screen. I've got one last thing to show you because I think this is important for you to see. All right. So I'm going to go to a new window and wait. It'll pop up with a new window. There's my new window. I'm going to load that existing design. next. And I'm going to go and load that EDO file. Remember that feather? Because I think this will make sense to you. All right, now, there's my feather design. So how would I stitch this in a way that I don't have to start and stop? Let's look at the design player so you can see. I'm in digitizing now. All right, there's my design player. Let's watch the way that I designed it. When I start, see, I started at that little swirl, and then it came down and did the feathers. And I did some more feathers. There's no stopping and starting, though. It's one continuous stitch. So if you know the way you would do a free motion design, so that was all done without stopping. There's not any stops or starts in the middle. And that's what you're looking for when you're making a quilt design. So as you're creating your designs, if you take like a stippling design and you trace it with your hand to see how it's going, right? There's no stops and starts. When you're creating a new design, you don't want to have any stops and starts. You want to try and do the design so that it will be able to start, like in this one here. Where would you start and stop this one? All right. I could start it here and go like this and go. But then I'd have to come back over that twice. So that's where I ended. And then where I started is a different place. So you're always trying to think, if you want your design to be a single stitch design, how can you do it going and keeping going without retracing your design more than once, if you can avoid it? It's kind of cool to see the design player. When you look at the design player, you can see what starts and stops there are. So here as I go, you can kind of see the way my brain was working. I was trying to not go over any lines more than once. And there's that little curly Q. When I started with one curly Q on one side. So that's only done once. And then I ended with the curly Q. So there's not one place there where it was designed was stitched over the center, yet in the middle areas, those lines are close. So there's some that might come, like you'll notice right here. All right. When you're looking right here at this line here, if I didn't like them overlapping like that, then I could get the nodes together and I could move them so that they weren't connecting. Sometimes you can choose to have a feather connect, right? Like here, I chose to have that overlapping. But that was a choice, a personal choice. And if you know you're doing it, then that's all right. It's just that's the way you want it to look like. So whether you have a drawing underneath or whether you're doing this freehand, as you're adding designs in and you're editing things, you'll notice that these nodes are round, right? So that lets me do curves. Now, if I wanted to do sharp points, all I do is I touch my shift key and now I have a sharp point. Maybe I want to, let's see if I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of that sharp point here like this, okay? I'm going to make this a sharp point up here. And then this one here, I'm going to bring in, and I'm going to change the curve like that. So anytime you want a sharp point, you touch the shift key. If you don't want a sharp point, then you don't do anything because you'll get this curve. And then if you want, you can actually change these types of nodes. You can change them to a Bezier curve and it'll convert it if you want to do that too. You can convert points. You can do all kinds of different things. But we're almost out of time. And so I hope that I actually feel like I was kind of a little bit lost in the beginning because I was trying to show you too much at one time. But I hope that you give it a try and start playing around in digitizing, because without any design, you don't need any design. You can start just from nothing. And when you go to point create, you can actually create your quilt design right on the screen without doing anything. I'm just going to show you that one more time. All right. I want to delete all of this stuff. because I want to make sure you connected with how that works. All right. So I'm in digitizing. I have quick create, I have freehand create, and I have point create. Maybe I would have been better to only show you one of these. But if you go to quick create and you want to do just a running stitch for a quilt design, then you can do this. All right. And then you can get your line. You can do, just click and point. And every time I point, I'm creating an embroidery design. Right now, this is an embroidery design. Now, if you wanted something fancy, when you right click, you turn it off. If you wanted something fancy, you can certainly do that. But notice how I went up there and started somewhere else. That's kind of a bad way to do it. You don't really want to do that. I'm going to get rid of that. Notice where this point is, where the little flower is. What you want to do is start from that point, and then you'll have a continuous design. And that's the most important thing. As you're doing a continuous embroidery design, always start again from where that little flower tip is showing, because it'll let you continue going. So this has been a wild ride through some things you can do in digitizing. Next time, if I ever do this again, I'm going to just select one part of it and then spend more time in there. But really, I just wanted you to start playing around. Digitizing, I'm using the platinum version. So not only do I have the Express Wizards, but I also have all of these tools. And I hope all of you just go into digitizing, go to point create, choose a running stitch, and just draw yourself a quilt. The way that you would hand do a stippling, you can do it right there. And make yourself a quilt design. Just play around and have some fun. Remember to save it as an EDO file, and then save it as a VP3 or whatever format you use. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that it was worthwhile for you to watch, and I hope to see you again next time on Facebook. Bye.